time when they have to delay, when GLuck also has to think in their head, what do we do now? And then those 1-2 second delay can change everything.
Well, let's play the Mac pick of Tempest. No surprise, it's going to be Cursed Hollow. They would pick Dragonshire for Game 3 if they won this one, and would see those maps. But it's a smart ban, obviously, by GLuck, so that map is not available. So Cursed Hollow will be our second map. Another map where rotational play is important. The lane matchup between Sonya and Leoric was actually pretty close until the rotation down happened and they lost everybody, right? So that's something they can focus on again, I think, in the next match to come. But we will see how this one pays off, or sorry, how this map pick will likely pay off for Tempest. So
let's see if Tempest wants to keep banning Dehaka. Seems like they really do not like to play against Dehaka. They have been banning Dehaka a lot.
Well, they
and
made it so Falstad
to ban Dehaka though.
They made it so Falstad could push a lot and get extra soak and threaten keeps and things like that because they eliminated Dehaka, but it was not really necessary in that last game. We saw only really pre-10 when Relic tried to kill Falstad and failed. I think that was the only time when he was really getting massive value out of Falstad. Otherwise, else it was just getting them further ahead. But I like what if you're going to draft into the kind of niche pick Falstad that really only Tempest is doing in Korea, then it makes sense to ban the Dehaka and see what GLuck wants to do this time. A worrisome wait here before first bans.
I would like if GLuck actually brings some mages out. If Tempest is coming in heads in all the time, just from the front, not from the side at all. Oh, false ban! False that ban!
All right, well.
Okay.
I'm sure that was Relic who locked that one in, man. Alright, well, looks to be Shimada brothers are going to be available, both of them. We saw Tempest play Hanzo to further their combo with Tyrael previously, but not going to be, I think, prioritized by Tempest this time. I think they will take Greymane again, if left available. And I think we're going to see a very similar draft. If GLuck logs in Genji here, I'm worried for them. Let's see if they do it. I want to see anything but the Genji right now.
Hanzo, please.
Uther is also fine, and Greymane is also fine. But Genji's win rate continues to plummet. They wanted it. They did decent with it. Like, Relic's team fighting was actually really on point, but they were just too far behind in scaling, and they were out-sustained by Rhaegar versus the Uther healing, so they struggled, right? And I feel like given if they had been on even footing in some of those fights, instead of fighting like 16 versus 13, you know, or, you know, 19 versus like 15, like we would have had some better fights for him.
I think what they have to do is just admit that Tempest is a stronger opponent and try to just soak in, not really be aggressive and not really let those solo kills to happen, because of that they were making slower rotation from the beginning, but because they were going aggressive instead of passive, they're losing much more than they could have. So I think just being passive, just waiting for 10 and then trying to look for the open doors, I think that should be the way to, I think that's the key of winning against Tempest tonight for GLuck.
I mean, I don't know if it's the key to win, but I think it's the key to fight on even footing, and from there, like, we can see what happens. We never saw that last game, like, and this game we're at least going to start at the same place. But where do we put the bookmark in GLuck's strategies after tonight is what we don't know yet, because they're going to get the Dehaka that was banned last time. They're going to take the Rhaegar. Previously, they took Uther and Nubarok in this rotation, both, of course, still available. It looks like they're trying to counter the draft of Tempest a little bit now with the Dehaka pick, the Rhaegar pick, because obviously Uther doesn't synergize as well with Hanzo comps, so they're willing to give that over to Tempest. For Tempest's ban here, it's a little bit odd, because, or it's a little bit difficult, because there's not really a great choice.
And depending on what kind of front line you want to make and try to have that counter, seems like they are not. Maybe they're not willing to bring in Sonya for as their own.
Yeah, with
banning a Tyrael themselves.
With the Tyrael ban, I think it seems like they want to run Malthael here. Malthael Uther in the next rotation is insanely powerful. I think GLuck might realize this and ban either the Uther or the Malthael. The Uther ban seems the more likely one because of the meta at the moment, and Uther's climbing win rate globally, but I prefer the Malthael ban. I'm going to ban Uther instead.
a safe one. If you ban Arthur, there are ways of going around it. So
yeah, that's true. I mean, this is still a smart choice. I prefer the Malthael ban because it's more specific, and Uther is not going to empower Greymane the same way he empowers a Malthael, but
so they pick up Anubarak already, not just for the Cocoon. It seems very likely with Rhaegar and Dehaka pick up, even going to pick Sonya though.
Yeah, with the Uther ban, I think
very likely we may actually see mages coming out from GLuck, and having that Anubarak spell damage does not do as much, and when the beetles block your spell, especially when you're playing Leeming, it's very harassed. It's very annoying too. I think on this map it's very good to have Anubarak just diving in from the side. I think that's what Sign is looking at.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Anubarak's an amazing area control hero, and in terms of double bossing on this map and things like that, like he's going to give them so much control that you know, Tyrael would have given, but he's, you know, they banned it. Was not their plan. I think this feels like a Tychus game. With Anubarak out in the field, there's no way to run something like a Leeming or another mage. I feel like it's just too risky. Tychus is safer. They ran him last time. Sauron looks a little unhappy today. But yeah, I think the Tychus pick is the safest one, and you could just run like a Muradin or an ETC here to level it all out. There's the ETC. And Tychus is like so good at burning these tanks. Junkrat is a playmaker and can help control the boss zones.
Yeah, and when they dive in, can also push them away with the mine. I think it's a pretty good pick. Like, they can also poke. This is a map where you need poke. To Genji, of course, can be enough, but if you have extra, that can be very helpful. I was thinking of a mage, but still, Junkrat has lots of skills, kind of acting like a mage in that way. So that can be a playmaking factor for GLuck. I like that they're trying new things with ETC, having the solid tank line with lots of CCs connecting with Dehaka, Rhaegar. But how are they going to burst down the Cocoon? I think it's going to take some time at least, even when Genji's cocooned or even Rhaegar. That's going to be a big factor for GLuck when they have a team fight after 10.
Yeah, and I think a lot of the time it's going to be ETC in that Cocoon. He's trying to come in, he just gets trapped in there. Brightwing as the support here. Did not expect that. Davis is taking a very global approach to playing the game right now. Feels old school. Brightwing bomb's not really a thing with this comp. Obviously, you could try to do a Brightwing bomb with a Anubarak, but it's not the same thing as what you could do with a Genji. Still a possible tactic we see, but it's going to be split soak. It's going to be shielding that we see. We might even just see Blink Heal. We'll see what they want to run with this. It can be very disruptive to Genji, but Blink Heal's mobility be quite powerful here. In terms of sustained healing, you know, I think Rhaegar kind of wins out over Brightwing in most of the cases, and we'll be able to burst heal the front line of ETC, front line of Dehaka in team fights. Let's see how this comp goes. This one's, I think, a little bit less cut and dry than last time.
And I think this is very interesting for Tempest, as they really focused hard. They used to only focus on team fights so much. They're not really using Dehaka too much, Falstad or ETC's stage dive. They're known as a team that's strong in team fight, really focuses on team fight, but they're moving away. They're always trying to have that global buy, picking Falstad, picking Brightwing now, so there's that revolutionary change in Tempest a little bit with the new roster. I think they're going towards the right direction for now. Let's see a little bit more how they draft into later games.
Yeah, like, it's basically Tempest, I think, saying, if we take some scrappy team fights against this team, then there's a chance that we could lose. We are the better team. Why not just fight every fight by being ahead in experience, being ahead in talent here, being ahead in the objective, because we have these global heroes. You know, the Dehaka ban led us down that path. GLuck picked it early this time, so they still have their own, you know, global hero, but see how this one goes. Sauron's going to look for a pick here, does get the grab onto Dami. Follow-up stun is there, but not enough damage. Because the follow-up concussive mine was there, but just did not connect. So did not give enough damage there.
Still, just bring Greymane home, and so make that time useful, make rotation, try to solve the line on top, because Sonya Dehaka matchup is pretty tough. Maybe just put some power onto Dehaka so he can have an easier lane time, but that's not gonna happen when Good is already onto the camp.
Dami gonna go ahead and jump through here, grab this camp insanely fast. Look at this timing.
Sonya plus Greymane.
Good's gonna leave too. He's basically just leashing because he is going to lose experience in the top lane if he stays here too long. Let's see if he loses a single minion if they show it to us. Like, I wonder if he misses a single minion.
And
I guess we'll never know, but...
And with ETC Genji, they're trying to look for some kind of accident happening right there, but Anubarak, even if you catch with Genji and ETC, it's not going to be enough damage to get the kill.
Yeah, he's just going to simply brush, not burrow charge away, not brush.
So they wasted a lot of time trying to look for a flank where there's a rotation for Tempest possibly coming out, and they're late on camp timing now. Ooh. So their plan A did not work, and they're behind the macro, even though they almost got the first kill onto Green and forcing him back home.
Yeah, I hope someone was like listening to my commentary and saw if Good missed one of the 7 minions, man. Like, if he missed 0, I'm like, this guy is a god. So he comes up here, forcing this lane swap, just gonna sit here because like they force Junkrat to rotate up, otherwise the bully would like absolutely get out of control. Dami is pinging for a little bit of assist here for Hanzo to come over and clear this up. Hanzo did go for the scatter air build, so obviously clearing insanely fast, especially post 7. But GLuck has stayed on fairly even footing. They were behind in the top lane matchup. They behind on camp time as they are again, and that will cost them a little bit in terms of this tribute right now. And notice what they're trying to do mid. They're going to play here, not going to get the kill, but that hurts Milky Way. It could have hurt worse, but they're in prime position to take this tribute. So what they should do is actually delay it and leave Saron in the top lane so he can actually get an experience lead. And just try to buy as much time as possible, while also, you know, staying in top lane. If they send the Haka down, I think it's a mistake.
Are they giving up on the first tribute? Maybe. Sign did go down to maybe harass. Okay, they're trying to push the mid lane and then try to make something work because the Haka is pushing the top lane alone. Yep. They want to get something done before.
It's an awkward situation because of the Siege Giants here, but because Hyde is actually here and can delay while also doing these Siege Giants, and they get mid, like Tempest is getting everything they possibly could ever want. But still, you know, the fact of the matter still is that the Haka's up there and he is staying, which is exactly what GLuck wants. Okay, some extra damage coming through, but body block here from Sign will prevent those last ones from connecting. One of the reasons why, you know, I thought a Tychus pick would be stronger than poke mage style stuff. Like, Junkrat's not a mage per se, but he kind of is. Like, he throws projectiles and Anubarak is great at just blocking that.
Sonya's already on top, missed a few minions.
Yeah, I think missed the whole wave.
But still Saron really not joining. Did get a little bit more experience, but losing a tribute. Let's see where they take us next time. It's going to be on top left.
Remember, Brightwing was also getting a little bit of extra soak bottom, so that did kind of negate some of what we were talking about. And she was able to soak, deal with the siege minions, and at the same time delay the tribute. This time Tempest really heavily wants to commit to the tribute. They're sending everyone up early, except Brightwing staying down there. Everyone's getting in position preemptively to grab this tribute, while also grabbing the siege giants that are, fortunately for them, positioned right next to it. Sonic Arrow comes out, just trying to judge positioning here. Ooh, Overlord really far forward, playing with fire here, with Sign's positioning right now. Could have looked for a pick there.
But usually what should happen is the Haka should already be in the bottom lane and try to soak, because Brightwing is getting the extra soak, and they're losing that much. And you do see the tribute. You get that announcement. I think they're really slow on. Maybe they're just way too careful, going down slowly because they don't want to get picked off by the other team. But Saron's really moving in slowly today. I do like it at the same time, but compared to Tempest, they have to make that quick snap decisions. Sign's going in, trying to delay the front line, so they do take the second tribute also. Ooh.
Well, now they're on curse point. We saw the extra soak, like about 3 minion waves I think in total were missed by GLuck during this, and they didn't get the tribute. Obviously Brightwing just being on top of everything, you know, having her down there early was really smart. Okay, Saron delays his death here. Will he get out? I don't think so. Paulie comes through. Good gank here. Milky Way going to try to power slide his way out. Does get his way alive, but I mean, look at this tribute spawning location. They are going deep here. Overlord, no escapes. Look at the Sonic arrows, the scatter arrows. Hyde, and everybody else is in a risky spot, but Sign peels, drops down the impale in this choke. And look at this. It's like, They just walk right to where they belong.
And the boss is right next to them too.
They looked up on Google Maps like the fastest way to get a kill and then go to the tribute. Like Google Maps, like yeah, then turn left after the fort. Like watch out for the shots, and then go up there and you'll get the tribute. It'll take about 7 seconds.
I almost thought because they're diving in, I thought it was a curse almost, and it was
oh
not
my
even
god.
a curse. And
Relic is dead. Cocoon comes through. This is just a train wreck now. This is not going to be good. Well, I mean, Good's not here. He's coming down, but Saren, there's the double stuns. There's it again. Triple stuns there. Milky Way. Sorry, man. No happy ending on this one.
No
curse and possibly game. Not only do they have this situation, but they can kill the wall, kill the keep, and try to invade boss. GLuck will have respawns and 10 by the time that the boss attempt is starting, so maybe they don't actually try to steal red side boss, but they might, you know, at the stage.
It's a very weird style of play to see from a Dehaka, where Dehaka should, I don't think he has used even one brush talk to join into team fight at least. Maybe he went to lane maybe a couple of times after dying. But the use of Dehaka is not really working out for GLuck. I don't think it fits their playstyle too much. I guess when they're losing the rotation, I think he has to be on top of rotation, really following where right wing it is at least onto the other side. Just not really losing any XP, first of all.
Yeah. Curse is expiring here. Tempest does take blue side boss. They're being safe. Oh, Dami pings it. They want the pick on the Milky Way. I think they're going to get it. Here we go. Stun, stun, Poly, cleanses late. Milky Way, low. Good concussive there, actually. That was really well done by Overlord. Next Burrow charge, though, is going to be ready in a second. No, they're not going to commit. That actually was really well played.
Good save by Junkrat.
Yeah, that I mean, that could have been disastrous. He played it well. It is blink heal, by the way. We thought it might be, but just to confirm that. Okay, that was the saddest mosh pit attempt I've ever seen. Dragon Blade comes through. Blink heal again, saving the day here. Just not enough damage. Cocoon onto Rhaegar.
So Ancestral could not connect at all, but it's going into Serum for now, and does take out Sonya, makes it into 4v4. Serum will be safe, Sign still keeping up the CC here.
Polymorph here on the Blue Beetle is trying to walk his way out. Wolf will be up in just a second. There it is. Relic gets the dash away. And during all of this, obviously GLuck, they got a trade, but they still didn't gain any. So annoying.
So horrible.
They didn't gain anything else really, and all they've gained at the end of the day, I guess what I'm trying to say is that they stopped the boss from happening. Like the boss could be taken right now, so this was still a good move. Just, you know, not the win in the team fight they were looking for.
Yeah, actually one of the best fights. If ETC actually waited for a split more second, actually, because he knew that Nubarak CC is going to come in, maybe just waiting for that to be out on cooldown, and then using the mosh pit could have been at least used as a zoning tool. But because he was using that, trying to save himself right after his HP was too low, went down. And even without ETC from the beginning, GLuck actually took that fight pretty well against Tempest.
This is Tempest's first mistake of the game, by the way. Not checking boss, not being positioned to know that move was happening. It was a risky move by GLuck, and Tempest just simply assumed they wouldn't do it. They did it exactly. Tempest wasted time on the rotation and didn't even get the camp. They finally got their own boss, obviously, but that's why Hanzo sent that Dragon Arrow to check, because suddenly Tempest and comms were probably like, oh, they were probably doing boss. We didn't think they were doing it. They are. They check, they confirm, and oh, the boss with the assist! Almost getting the kill here, not going to happen.
He was dropping that isolation just to harass Good for a little bit, not really making that work into a kill.
They check the boss, they get their own, they clear this boss, bot boss is dealt with as well. And Tempest gets the tribute, so leading in tributes now. Not the same lead we saw last game, but they are definitely massively ahead at the moment in terms of talent tier advantage for until exactly when I said that. They're close to getting that at 16. Bosses are no longer basically a non-factor at the moment. Tribute does spawn on GLuck's side. It's red side tribute. They're already posturing around it. This means that Dehaka should be able to make better plays.
Maybe they want to
the global.
invade in coming around. They know that's the only thing not really painted with blue on their side. Slowly, maybe they're trying to punish the rotation, but Sign is on top already, getting down the ETC. Breadwing joins the team fight already. Dehaka has to come now, or it's going to be late.
Okay, he's here now. Saren looking for a grab. Unfortunately, the only person he can grab is Sign. Sign's positioning is perfect as usual. Another isolation comes down here. Good. Looking for that sustained healing. Dragon Blade coming through. Stuns on the good. He's getting moshed here. That was a great mosh pit by Milky Way. And GLuck may be on their way to winning their first team fight here. Milky Way survives. Cocoon does save Hyde for the time being. Okay, there's another kill onto Greymane. And GLuck will win this team fight.
Nicely done by big mosh happening, but not just that. Really putting that isolation onto Nubarak, delaying all the CCs so that it gives a room for Junkrat and also Genji to do all they want to. That was one of the best decisions. And also joining from the back line. Saron really started that team fight just right for GLuck, and Tempest got caught off guard a little bit.
Just to watch this one lone Siege Giant who's like, probably in his midlife crisis. And he's like, oh, well, should I really be pushing this lane?
My wife and my kids. Oh,
like, I got bullied by a few Heroes of the Storm, and they made me do it. Like, I didn't stand up to them. Now I'm just a pile of rocks on the ground. Didn't even damage the keep wall. Like, oh, my greatest accomplishment was to be in picture-in-picture just to show off our new production here at VSL. All right, so next tribute is going to be the Curse Point tribute, and which is going to be important because bosses will be spawning fairly soon after. As you can see, we're at 2-minute timer here on blue side boss, so about 1:30 on red side boss. Lockdown going to clear this camp again to further push this. Maybe these guys are not as much in terms of their midlife crisis. Maybe they'll actually be a little bit more enthused about killing that keep wall. GLuck's slow on the rotation here. They've got Relic pushing bot to threaten Brightwing, but it means they lose the tribute. And that's potentially game losing for them if they mess up the next one.
It's also because they had Genji back down there. I think they realized they can't really contest. They're also out talented by a level of perfect arrow landing on the Haka. Nicely done. Also has to eat Ancestral because of that.
Yeah, also used isolation. Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
Poly Genji, so
here comes the Riptire though. Good Riptire into the mosh, but interrupted here. Dami's going in. He doesn't care about his health bar. Good will fall here, but Dami's doing too much damage here with Lockdown uncontested. Hyde with a perfect poly. That was so well done. Genji gets caught, and now this is this match. Sorry, this match as well. But this this fight is over. They're gonna lose the game over it as well. But some really good team fighting here from GLuck actually, and I think the ETC pick for them has been fantastic, and I'm very impressed with the mosh pits we are seeing. And now this is going to be a dead wall. Dead keep, theoretically, here with the Siege Giants pushing, and Curse is just around the corner. It's a choose-your-own-adventure ending for Tempest now because they can Curse into double boss, they can boss into Curse. GLuck doesn't have anyone respawned yet. Keep down. They're just going to kind of kite through here and head towards the tribute with the respawn of Sonya. This is a... You know what? I think there's one more chance for GLuck. If they have another fight here with Mosh, 55 seconds on that, it's not going to be this fight. If they have another fight during Curse, they might be able to come back into this one. But I mean, this is going to be hard, okay?
It's going to be hard, but at least they're at the same talent now. And then Tempest was actually, their back line, Hanzo Brightwing, was actually threatened by Genji's Dragon Blade, and also Junkrat Riptire did so much damage. It was a perfect timing for Genji to go in, but Hyde canceled all that with the polymorph. Even wait, hold on.
Okay, stunlock here onto the noob.
Nubarak does not get to use a cocoon and blows up.
It's going to be a trade though, and you know the scaling advantage does go to Tempest. Another big Riptire here, and Hyde is so good with these polys.
Poly's out now. Rally can actually do. Dragon Blade will be back in 2 seconds. He can take all the kills.
Okay, he is just going to clean this one up. The lack of burst heal, a big problem here for Tempest. Brightwing's healing just not enough to actually save them when they have the Riptire damage coming through. Good's like all 1v3 though, by the way. No, not going to happen. It was close. Brightwing tries to port in. Could have actually turned things around. The minions are getting involved. Lockdown's coming through. Heroic not up until 35 more seconds. But GLuck, they took that fight I was talking about during Curse. They're going to lose a second keep here. They have to go home to deal with the catapults on core soon. But, you know, that was the fight they needed to take. And they did it without Mosh Pit. Good use of Ancestral, good use of the Riptires. And this has been about Milky Way and Overlord to me. The Riptires plus the Mosh Pits. And these fights where basically they've done so much damage to Tempest's members that Tempest wishes they had an Ancestral, wishes they had a Divine Shield, but all they have is Blink Heal. And Brightwing's trying to escape, you know, using polymorphs to avoid the Dragon Blades. It's been rough for Tempest in these last few fights. They have a massive lead in terms of macro, but we knew that was what their plan was going to be with the Brightwing pick. If GLuck can continue to win these team fights consistently, they have a window potentially back into this game.
Let's see that Parse Light was a weird one going into the camp, and also the Seron joined in. There's a drag. Now trying to do some damage onto the Hanzo, but the Steez away the wall.
Oh man, don't want to chase lockdown too far here into those chokes with the arrows coming out. Scatter arrow here trying to dismount some of the members of GLuck, make sure they can't mount, I should say, because no one was really mounted on that retreat. Tempest, will they make a boss play here? They're in good position for it. Really only Dragon's arrow was used. Mosh Pit still up though, like this is really anyone's fight to take potentially. GLuck backs away. They have to because of the lane pressure coming from top keep down. Mid keep barely survived. Tempest will decide to make this boss play. How quickly does GLuck respond? Do they take their own boss? Not right on time.
Did you just see that damage?
Yeah, Hanzo's kind of crazy.
Hanzo plus Greymane plus Sonya. That was insane. That was like 5 seconds or less.
Yeah, Hanzo's he does some damage. I heard they're removing it by 2 though, like in the next patch, so it'll be fine.
No.
Uh-oh, top lane calls here on Seron.
Lane call and they hit 20 just.
Bye-bye.
Oops.
The pings were there. Everyone's had that guy in Hero League, the top laner, who's just trying to deal with the catapult pressure. He's just trying to do his job. He's frustrated. But sometimes you get caught like that. Late pings.
And then the next thing he's going to say, but we had to get 20 before we fight.
Well, now they're fighting a 4v5. They don't have 20 yet. They will now. Gonna be helpful here, but I don't know if they can make this boss happen. Milky Way right on it, but interrupted, stunned immediately. No mosh pit here. Cocoon goes down. Milky Way just barely not getting the Ancestral this time, and Dragon Blade comes out. The mosh is good.
The Death Metal actually working.
Or sorry, Death Metal.
They just hit 20, but with Genji gone, too much damage actually already done before 20 fight, and it was a 4v5 to start it off from. GLuck, they tried their best, I guess. They hacked that down. There was no way of coming back into the game. They were just testing their luck at the last fight, but that's it. They showed lots of improvements during last team fights, though.
Absolutely, this was a better game by them. Well, obviously, the last game was a disaster, but this game they showed us some really good team fights, and to be frank, I really like Relic's Genji. Like, we talked about this in the first matchup of HGC Korea. The first match of 2018 was his Genji coming out, and I have been impressed, to be honest, with his Genji. And in the last game, they were always fighting levels down, remember? So I was talking about how, like, if they were on even levels, you probably would have won some of these fights. The lack of burst healing was definitely a problem in some of those team fights, and we saw really great Ancestrals coming out from GLuck, so they won some of those fights, but again, they were fighting with one hand tied behind their back because of the macro, because of the lane pressure, because of the lack of keeps and things like that, and the rotations were late, as you said. But that last fight, I watched ETC lock in Death Metal right before he went in. It was his goal 100% to go and try to mosh, fails, get the Death Metal mosh.
He failed on that one, but it was on cooldown for 10 seconds, but he did get that 20.
I wonder if that
good.
I wonder if that was communicated to GLuck, because I feel like if that was communicated, maybe like they would have fought around that a little bit better.
It was a 45, and they had it pretty well against the level 22 to start off the team fight, and that was good. Not just that, even before really isolating Anubara, I think the Seron really got the idea, really not joining the team fight for the first retribute the entire curse. I think that really delayed them to be behind the entire game from the start. If they work on that, the beginning of the game, I think the first 10 minutes, first 8 minutes, if they really catch the rotation of the better teams, I think they can actually become a much better team than what they are right now.
Their team fighting is absolutely fantastic. I think that is the big thing to point out about them. If they can just tighten up some of their rotational play, like you say, I think that is going to be the way to go. And can they come back in this series? I don't know, but I feel like each game has been an improvement, so maybe the next game is their first game they take. Maybe they, you know, draft around those globals a little bit better. It's total shock that Brightwing was picked up. I mean, they couldn't have predicted that, right? But it definitely gave them some problems. But it also gave some problems to Tempest. Like, it was definitely a sword that was double-edged for them. The lack of burst healing was a problem because of the Dragon Blade coming through. So see how things develop going to the next game. See if Falstad gets picked, if they ban it again, because Tempest is just all global all the time right now.
Yes, first ban Falstad was definitely shocking for all the viewers, including us. I'm guessing for Tempest also, but they had a brilliant plan with Brightwing. Of course, it was a lot weaker. I have to say, compared to all the other games that they played in HGC so far. But even bringing Brightwing, I'm guessing really Hyde does not like Malfurion at all, or maybe they just want to keep that global. Let's see how that progresses with the next game and so on.
Yep. Well, we are going to take a short break before then. We'll see you guys in just a few minutes.